Is this the Dr. Ray?
What are you asking me?
Are all people mentally ill?
I have no idea.
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head there.
Now, why would I say something so dumb?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I don't remember what I said.
You're always contagious, by the way.
Am I really that awful?
I don't care. I'm not concerned with that stuff.
And I guess that's true, but doggone.
As usual, you're doing all the talking.
Well, are you better than God?
No way.
I'm going to give you some bad news. You got a problem.
I just wanted to call and get some wise advice, hopefully.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Yeah, we shrink types pay attention to qualifiers. I just wanted to call and get some wise advice. ... Hopefully. Notice that? She could have said, perhaps, maybe, long shot. Just wanted to call and get some wise advice. If it's all possible, maybe I should call another. All right, I'm getting paranoid. I'm not paranoid. Do you think I'm paranoid? I knew you'd think that. Thanks for joining me here. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi. Program Doctor is in. Dispensing a very potent drug. It was under the brand name of Dacazin. However, after several years of doing this program, it went off patent. And now we give the generic form of it. Tricyclinol is the generic form. You get it by listening. You get it through your ear. It's interoral, not oral, aural, A-U-R-A-L. It would be much more potent if you could get it visually in my office. However, here on the radio, we just give little drips of it. Hopefully to give you a thought or two, a nugget or two, something to help you out in your life and living more faithfully, more peacefully, more responsibly, more maturely, more calmly, less anxiously. I just could go on for a while there, but let's see what we can do. Reasons people call, mostly for situations, circumstances. They want to just bounce off someone. You never know. You never know. A little piece of observation might help you out. Ripple effect throughout your life, affect other things. You know what? I will give a little example of that ripple effect here on the opening monologue. I was going to do another monologue, but I just changed my mind. You people think that I prepare for this show. And in fact, you think, well, he's going to, like a priest prepares his homily, writes it out, he's got the thoughts, however he chooses to do it. Same thing here, right? Well, kind of like I do in the TV show. I drive my producer crazy. He says, what's your opening monologue? I said, I don't know. He said, well, we go on air in 2 minutes. I go, twice as many minutes as I need. So he tells the camera guys, don't know how long he's going to go, what he's going to talk about. Just be ready. So I had a monologue prepared, and it was probably a better monologue than this one, but I just changed my mind while I was doing the opening intro to my monologue. But I'll get to that in a second. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call. I've got the great privilege, this was booked probably some months ago, to go out and be part of the 15th anniversary celebration of the Catholic Spirit Radio Network. Now, don't confuse that with Catholic Spirit Radio out of Omaha. This is the Catholic Spirit Radio Network out of Bloomington, Illinois. And they got a bunch of stations. I was shocked at how many stations they had. I got 8, 9, 10 of them. They called me, and I get a chance to be at their benefit banquet Thursday, this coming Thursday in the evening. Now, interestingly enough, that banquet is at a place called the Chateau in, where else would a psychologist go? Normal, Illinois. Normal, Illinois. I talked there once, and they didn't allow me back. They said, no, we really don't want you ruining the reputation of Normal, Illinois. But if you'd like to be part of it, you just get a hold of the Catholic Spirit Radio Network, flagship station out of Bloomington there. And they still got seats open. And I asked them about that. I said, you normally have seats open? They said, not really. No. I said, well, why did you ask me? Did you want to try to fill up those seats? They said, no, not really. We kind of like having extra seats open, for last-minute people, and we thought, who could we get out here to speak that would not fill the place up? And we called you. And I said, well, thank you. I'm glad to be able to help. So, if you'd like to be part of that, be delighted to see you there in Normal, Illinois. It was founded by a woman. I guess her last name was Normal. First name was Abby Normal, which would make me much more comfortable to go there. All right, let me give the number one more time before I jump into the monologue. 877-573-7825. I was going to talk about the ripple effect. In other words, if you make a small change in something, whether it's your marriage, maybe you decide you're going to use better manners. That could have a dramatic effect on your marriage. Just dramatic. Spill over into all other areas. You're going to do something that's just slightly different with that cantankerous, difficult relative. Just slightly different. A smile or something. Make a significant difference. One of the areas, and I'll use this particular setting to illustrate it. Let's say a parent comes in. Pick the age of a child, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Kid's a behavior problem for him. Now, I hate putting it that way. Behavior problem makes it sound like it's the kid's fault. Much of the time, when a child is a behavior problem, it is us. Now, I'm not doing this to criticize. I'm just simply saying that for whatever the reason, and you have to explore the reasons. Okay, I don't think it is. I'm responding to a little note here. Whatever the time, you have to explore the reasons on why the parent is being behaviorally yanked around by this 8, 9, 10-year-old. Now, are some kids tougher than others? Of course. They're all wired different. However, most of the time, when there is a discipline struggle between the parent and the kid, the parent is the one who can make the changes that will radically change the situation. And sometimes it's very small changes. So they come into my office, and we talk a little bit, and say one session, maybe two. Talk about what they can do differently, how they can assert their authority more calmly, more confidently, more quietly, and actually take charge. Not unusually, second or third session, when I ask how things are, if they describe that he's nowhere near as resistant to discipline, nowhere near as challenging of their authority, they will also add comments like this. The other day he came up to me and told me how much he loved me. He hadn't told me that for, I don't remember when. Or, he's treating his sister nicer. I noticed that. He's just more tolerant of his sister, who used to just make him irritable. He's happier. There for a while, for the last 2-3 years, he's just been trip switch unhappy. He's just happier. He's just more pleasant. I call it the ripple effect. The ripple effect is if you make small changes to improve a relationship from your end now, you got to do it from your end. It can have unexpected, unanticipated positives that you didn't see coming. Kind of repeating myself, aren't I? Unanticipated, didn't see coming. Hey, this is an off-the-cuff monologue. One I changed at the last minute right before the show. The ripple effect is very powerful. I have a marriage book. It's called Simple Steps to a Stronger Marriage. And the whole premise of that book is here are 10 things you can do, 10 tiny little things you can do. They're not hard to do. These are not a revamping of your whole communication style. This is not learning how to use iMessages instead of you messages. No. This is not therapy outside the office type stuff. This is not analyzing, well, whether I'm talking to a choleric. I'm not a choleric. I'm more of a I don't even know all those types. They just overlap all over the place. It's really hard to say. But given all that, they're very simple steps. And they dramatically improve marriages in areas of the marriage that you wouldn't think happen. Oh, choleric, sanguine. I knew I'd think of it. Kind of like sandwich. The ripple effect. Make tiny little changes in yourself and watch what happens, according to the song. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. Let's load them up. I want to talk to you.
Today's programming on Ave Maria Radio is brought to you in part by a gift from our day sponsor. Joseph Robin, thank you so much for your donation to help build the church and bless the nations.
Now you can support Ave Maria Radio by becoming a day sponsor too. Send anyone a message, a friend, a family member, or a priest, just someone close by. Call 877-288-1077 and tell them you want to be a day sponsor.
Do you ever find yourself wondering how much rain you got, but none of your regular weather apps can tell you? Precip uses radar to show you exactly how much rain fell at your precise locations, not just the nearest airport. Whether you're checking your fields, your job site, or just curious, the Precip app has the answer. Download free at getprecip.com. That's GETPRECIP.com.
Our 20th anniversary Danube River Cruise was spectacular. Due to popular demand, we have again chartered our own exclusive and brand new ship for a Rhine River cruise to 4 European countries with the most beautiful churches in Catholic history in Europe. The trip is already half sold out. Join us in June 2027. Immerse yourself in the rich Catholic heritage of Europe.
To learn more about your Ave Maria Radio trip, go to AveMariaRadio.net and find the travel link. Another year has come and gone, and whether you like it or not, Uncle Sam requires you to make an accounting. Perhaps it's time to call Myler & Zipka. They work with you to legally minimize your tax bill and identify ways to reduce future taxes. Eliminate the nagging feeling that you're paying more taxes than you need to. Call Ken Zipka today at 734-930-5500. Myler & Zipka. Integrity, excellent value, and people dedicated to a long-term relationship. 734-930-5500.
Thank you for joining me on The Doctor Is In. Got a question on an email. Dr. Ray, can you name a book? Is there a book that made you cry? Yeah, there was. It was organic chemistry, I think, when I was a freshman. Yeah, that's the one that made me cry. Angela from Little Rock, Arkansas. Hi, Angela.
Hello.
Thank you for the call.
Question, I have adult children from 21 to 43, all of them raised in the faith, only one of them practicing, and in very odd situations. They all will talk to me. You know, they love me, they appreciate their upbringing, but not one of them has anything to do with God, period. Outright don't believe, varying degrees. I'm praying for them, but I'm like in my own little world over here, I feel like, and I don't talk to them at all about faith. Honestly, I'm afraid to, and not just like faith, just, well, what does God think? I'm afraid, I don't know how to talk to them. What more should I be doing here? Because they're all headed totally the wrong direction.
What has happened? What has happened, Angela? Previous times you even broached the subject.
I'll say I'll pray for you. She'll say, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah, knock yourself out, Mom.
Say that.
Knock
it's just
yourself
one of them
out.
who is outright hostile, but huh?
Not, in other words, the message is knock yourself out there, Mom. Do what you got to do. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically. It's kind of like they allow me to do that because it makes poor mom feel better.
We're doing that for
it
Mom.
Didn't help They see me as a poor abused housewife because their father wasn't, was verbally, etc. I mean, that's actually changed, and we're still together. And a couple of them were actually angry that I stayed with them.
So they got all kinds of problems with. They got all kinds of problems with the way you supposedly held your family together, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they'll probably turn that and blame it on God. If this is Mom's religion and this is what she did because of her religion, boy, is that stupid. I don't want any part of that. Something along those lines of an attitude.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay. I think the key here, my dear, and many parents will say, am I doing enough? Am I reaching out sufficiently to these wayward religious children? At some point, you got to decide when any kind of religious talk, whatever it is, whether it's just masses at 5 o'clock if you want to go with me, or what problem do you have with priests, or what is it that's pushing you away from the Catholic? Whatever you say, and it is met even stony silence or a look that says, shut up. And at some point, you say to yourself, if I were to keep pushing this, I make it worse. You have to decide. You got to decide where that point is. The problem is, lots of times parents will go beyond that point because they think, I have a responsibility to fix whatever it is that I screwed up. And it just keeps pushing them. And as it pushes them, it pushes the kids further away.
That
Angela,
sure sounds like me.
Yeah, I know, honey. And I got to tell you, EWTN will tell you in their viewer services department, I see it all the time, and even now the secularists are saying it, that this wholesale turning on the way I was raised is just epidemic. It's everywhere. And parents who were good people, or even like yourself, who had a rocky marriage, tried to hold it together heroically, held it together, and it's better. That's a beautifully admirable thing. And your kids, instead of admiring you for it and saying, boy, Mom put up with an awful lot, but she persevered and it's better now. No, they look at you and say, what a dummy she was. And not only was she a dummy, she affected us too. That's sad. But you can't do anything to stop the way they think. I guess the only thing I can give you, Angela, at this point anyway, is to quit beating yourself up. Cut it out. You say to yourself, any of them show any sign that they want to talk about any of this, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to ask them what they think about religion. I'm ready to ask them what they think about the Catholic Church. I'm ready to ask them why they left. I'm ready to ask them why they don't go to Mass. I'm ready to ask them whatever they are open for me to ask. But I'm going to at least try to read the cues here. I think right now their attitude probably is, Mom, we are just fine. We're perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, Mom, we're more fine than if we had religion, because I've seen what religion did to you, Mom. Am I off on that one?
No.
I know. Not because I'm so smart, but because that's such a common attitude. So, given that, you're one of many of us, me included, who have watched some of their children leave the faith. And it's because this culture is exquisite, skilled in stripping people of eternal truths. Stripping them. It's so good at it. It is like nothing the world has ever seen. Even when the world was pagan-filled, it wasn't this good. Because at least there, people said, well, you got a choice here. You got a pagan-filled, or you maybe seek some god like the Jews do. But other than that, right now, it is so good because it pretty much convinces so many people, not only do you not need religion, but it's bad. It'll stifle you. Look what it did to your mom. How's that for a lecture?
Yeah.
My dear, you need peace. You got to stop telling yourself I can't be happy as long as my kids are looking at it this way. As long as you got a relationship with them of some type, like you said, they still talk to you. They just don't want to hear the religion thing. Okay. At least you got that opening. There's a lot of parents listening to this right now that are saying, not only have my kids left the faith, but they won't even talk to me. I don't have any chance to ever have any of this stuff come up because they've written me off. And you said one other thing. I didn't have a chance to explore it because obviously it's not therapy. But you said something to the effect of, I'm going to make sure I phrase this right, that they look at you like this is mom's thing. Okay, Ma, you want to pray? Go ahead, that's your thing. Okay, Ma, you want to stick it out with Dad? Okay, that's your thing. But you understand here, Mom, that the culture's told me you're all wrong. You should have never stuck it out with Dad. And you're praying. Okay, Ma, if it makes you feel better to pray, go ahead and pray. Not going to affect me. But it just might. It just might. Thanks for calling, Angela. You be at peace, my dear. Please, be at peace. Do not let adult children who are choosing to act their own way, put them in the hands of God, but do not let them destroy the joy that God says he wants you to have. Got that?
I'll work on it.
All right. That's all you can ask. Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much, dear.
Bye.
When our Lord said, I will give you peace that the world does not understand, if we insist on saying, I can't be at peace given certain conditions, one of those conditions is very common now is children who have left the faith. So therefore, I can't have peace. Did our Lord not know what he was talking about? Did he say, I'll give you peace as long as peaceful things happen to you? I'll give you peace as long as it goes okay. I'll give you peace as long as there's nobody trying to rob your peace. There's all kinds of conditions here. As far as I know, he didn't qualify it. He didn't say, I will give you peace the world doesn't understand. Well, okay, some of the earlier manuscripts, there's some footnotes down there at the bottom where my peace really doesn't work. No, I got to count on him. He said he would. Okay. So then I got to seek it. I got to seek it. I can't sit back and go, yeah, I know he said he'll give me peace, but I'm miserable. Well, then what am I doing about that? Am I embracing his peace? Or am I saying, how can you be at peace if the people you love jeopardize their souls? Well, God loves them more than I do. And I don't know how he's going to judge them. And they may return to the faith after I'm off this mortal coil, as the poet says. And I got to count on that. 877-573-7825. 877-57 equal. That's the number. Got time. Got lines. Sure would like to talk to you. You got insight into things? Please share it. Situation? Share it. A generic question? Share it. Dr. Ray, I'm trying to have peace. It's not working. Thank you for joining me here. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi. Program Doctor is in Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Co-production, EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network and the Ave Maria Radio Communications by producer man and call screamer, dual duty over there in Ann Arbor, Andrew Kruchek. This announcement from my friend, mentor, and boss at EWTN, Tom Price. This is the special one for me. This week, our EWTN radio affiliate, The Rock Catholic Radio. I think it's kind of neat. I asked them if they were named after Rocky Colavito in Cleveland, and my producer man, Dick Russ, if he's listening, he'll know this. Don't knock The Rock, but I think they were named after St. Peter. I'll have to double check that. They have 3 stations serving Cleveland and Northern Ohio. They've been on the air now for 11 years. Now, they are in a, I want to say, threadway responsible for me being on the air. There was a Catholic radio station in Cleveland that I had visited as a guest a number of times. A man named Bob Tayak had a show. And he was approached by a fledgling Catholic radio network, not the EWTN one. This was before that for me. He said, you know anybody that could possibly host their own show? He said, well, there's one guy's possibility. And he mentioned my name. And because of that, they contacted me. And I went on the air. And that was the beginning of my Catholic radio days. Well, that station was run on a profit basis, and it went down. However, The Rock brought Catholic radio to Cleveland under a wonderful, wonderful nonprofit status. And my producer, Dick Russ, who I've been with for 15 years now on the Living Right with Dr. Ray TV show. He's been, those of you in Cleveland know him. He was 50 years on television. He's a big shot on Cleveland television. Anchor guy, top reporter, etc. Knew everybody and everything. He's responsible in large part for helping get that station on the air. And now it's been 11 years. Dick, if you're listening, that's incredible. I want to congratulate Marianne Mayteen and the team at The Rock. What a great bunch of people. And, by the way, we are scheduling probably for the fall to bring Living Right with Dr. Ray back to Cleveland. And the Cleveland folks put together an audience for the TV show. So we will hopefully get to see all them. But I'm privileged to congratulate them. I was rooting for that old Catholic radio station back then. Thank you, my friend. Prescott is calling from Oregon. Hi, Prescott.
Yeah, how are you doing, Dr. Ray?
Now, how in the heck is this 6.5-year-old being allowed to be defiant and disrespectful?
Yeah, so I had a question for you. He goes to a Catholic school, and he's having some major problems with discipline. He sometimes will not obey. So I just wanted to ask you, I told him I can give you 10 chances to start obeying at home and at school.
10? Man, you are generous.
Yeah, so then I said, okay, when we get to number 10 for disobeying, you are going to start, when we ask you to do something, you're going to say either yes, mom, or yes, ma'am. And also yes, dad, or yes, sir. And also when you go to school, you say yes, teacher, or whatever their name is, that kind of thing. So yesterday he was very defiant with his teachers, refusing to obey. And so tonight I'm going to tell him, okay, from now on, when mom and dad ask you, Noah, get dressed, you are to say yes, mom, or yes, ma'am. Or if dad asks you to pick up your toys, you say yes, dad, or yes, sir. Now, is that a bad thing or a good thing in your opinion?
It is a good thing, but it is a very weak first step. In other words, you can tell your son, this is what I expect of you. But clearly, at least up to this point anyway, he hasn't cooperated. Now, I don't know, Prescott, if that teacher is a weak disciplinarian. That's unfortunately that's very common in our public Catholic schools now. Not only are many of them weak disciplinarians, but they follow a lot of theories that don't work. And that's part of the reason why 50% of teachers want to get out of teaching, because they have got all kinds of notions on how they are to keep order in the classroom and handle kids who challenge them that don't work. So let's take your particular little man. Noah, right? That's his name?
Yeah, his name's Noah.
Oh.
But the other thing is he was drug affected. We adopted him from birth, and his mom was a meth head.
All right.
So I think he might have some executive function.
Well, I don't doubt that for a moment, Prescott. I don't doubt that for a moment. The research is high on that. I've had situations with my own adopted kids. When there is drug and alcohol exposure in the womb, it is devastating. It is devastating to things like self-control. It is devastating to slowness in forming conscience, challenging, deceptiveness, some attention problems, some impulse problems. Yeah, it can go all over the map. However, Noah is flooding his teacher with misbehavior. Has the teacher complained to you yet? Has the teacher said, look, we can't manage this kid in class?
Well, he does pretty good sometimes, but also a while back he had a psychologist analyze him, and then we went to our pediatrician, and then they put him on it's called guafacine or something like that. I forget what it is, but it's I think it's guafacine or something. I don't remember the name of it, something like that.
What's that supposed to have done?
Yeah. So they put him on an extended release. I forget the name of it.
Is it supposed to deal with his impulsiveness?
Yes.
Well, obviously, he's still being defiant. And much defiance is not impulsiveness. It's defiance, all right? You aren't necessarily impulsive to be defiant. I'm defiant because I don't want to do, or I haven't learned to do, what is being asked of me. All right, so all that said, I'm going to bump up against a break here. All that said,
okay.
When you said I expect these things, great start, good stuff. Now, here's where the power comes in.
Well, I'll tell you a thing that happened in school yesterday. During his writing, the teacher said, okay, you need to slow down and redo it. And then he was just like, no, and then he wouldn't do it, that kind of thing. So
All right, he's defiant, sure. And you could probably fill up this whole program with examples. So what? That doesn't bother me. Where I'm concerned is what you're going to do to deal with it. Now, I'm going to bounce up against a break here, hard break in about 20 seconds. So you stay right there, and I will discuss with you how you can get this young man to more frequently say, yes, Dad, yes, Mom, without a fight. 877-573-7825. That is the number. Andrew, this is going to be a look-back call, so you'll have to cut it off right when I say without a fight, and we'll just go straight to the other side of the break. Thank you for joining me and my producer man, Andrew Kruchek. I'm on the phone with Prescott from Oregon to recap quickly. A 6.5-year-old who was adopted and was meth, probably other drug exposed in the womb, is giving him some troubles at school, especially. And we talked about something that Prescott wanted to do. He said, okay, son, you're going to respond yes, sir, or yes, mom, when given a request or a dictate. Fair enough. However, what's happening here is this young man, Noah, is given school teacher problems. Prescott, he in first grade?
He's in kindergarten.
Okay.
But
so
the other question I had, okay, the other question I had for you, when I talked to him about discipline in school, and I said, because the teacher writes out little smiley faces or frowny faces and writes out what was happening. So when I get home, I read it to him and say, what happened here, Noah? And sometimes I don't remember. I'm like,
Prescott. You see what you're doing again? You're all talk, my friend. You ought to tell little Noah. Noah, I'm going to tell you what, son. And this was tapping into what I was going to tell you, but since you're already doing some version of it, although not as extensive as what I would tell you, Noah, I best see a smiley face when you come home. If I do, you will have all your privileges that are normal. If I see a frowny face, depending upon all your teacher tells me, you could lose everything, son. You won't have any privileges whatsoever. You won't be able to go outside.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. He loves his iPad.
Okay, but you told him that, Prescott. You told him. Act on it. Act on it.
Yes, I told him tonight. I told him last night. I said, if you get a frowny face for disobeying, you are going to have no TV tonight whatsoever.
TV is nothing. No, Prescott, right. Stop. TV is just a little thing. No outside. No toys. No dessert. Early bedtime. You can draw and read. That's it. See, he's 6 and a half.
I don't know if a 6-year-and-a-half-year-old would handle this.
Whoa. Wait a minute. What do you mean a 6-year-old could handle it? Of course he can handle it. He's not going to like it at all.
Well, no, I was going to ask him to write out, I want to respect my teacher with her name. And I said, okay, I want you to write this 5 times. Is that too much for a 6-and-a-half-year-old, do you think?
Given what he's doing at school, that is way too little. Prescott, I'm going to let you go with this. Your son is giving heavy grief to the teacher. I don't doubt he's given heavy grief to you and your wife. If you don't get this under control by basically saying, yes, this is what I expect, Noah, and then here's what I'm going to do about it, and I'm going to do something about it you're really not going to like. And even at that, Prescott, it's going to take a while. Even at that. But, sir, you have no choice. Because, God willing, he's going to be 9 or 12 or 15. And my office is filled with people who come in with 15-year-olds, and I say, when did this start? When he was 5. When he was 3. He's adopted. Drug exposed in the womb. Always been trouble. We never got it under control. And what they did is they did way too much talking and way too little action. Now, I have a book that might really help you, and it deals with these school situations, too. My most popular discipline book, it's called Discipline That Lasts a Lifetime. Most common discipline questions I get asked. My bestseller. It's on my website, drray.com. Signed, cheap. You can get it, and I think it'll really help you. I've also got a book on adoption, and there's some questions in there that might be relevant to you. Thank you, Prescott. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's take a break, and then I'll go to Dave when I come back. This is Dr. Ray.
This program is brought to you by the following nonprofit underwriter.
Are you longing to hear God's voice? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian Prayer Series will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking, and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
The coil spring of my father's 1940s vintage desk chair creaked as he leaned back, looking up at no particular object, only at the next sentence he was mentally constructing for the book he was writing. And in the next room, as my mother pulled the vacuum across the floor, her soprano voice rose above the machine's whine. She sang hymns, she sang big band tunes, she sang Mozart. This was all part of growing up in an antebellum home, with its wide and deep front porch, 6 white classical columns across the front. Beauty, tradition, depth were part of my youth. And now I go regularly to a place which is terribly, profoundly ugly. A place that tells human beings that they are temporary and pointless. When I go to this place, the abortion clinic, and when I try to speak of beauty and love, my father and mother are there in my voice. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
Ave Maria in the Afternoon is underwritten by the following nonprofit organization: Real Estate for Life. Buying or selling your home or business property? Real Estate for Life can connect you with one of 1,400 pro-life real estate agents around the world. When Real Estate for Life receives a referral fee, they donate 70% to Ave Maria Radio and Human Life International. More information at realestateforlife.org or 877-LIFE-US1. That's realestateforlife.org.
One last segment. Let's go to Dave from Boston, Ma. Dave must have been, I want to say, touched, not provoked, by my monologue talking about our Lord says, I will give you peace. And Dave's wondering, how come I don't have it? Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray, first of all, I do have it when I'm praying, but then when I move from prayer, even though life is supposed to be prayer and prayer is supposed to be life, I lose it. And I lose it to the most important person in our lives, I guess, moms who treated us so well. But when they turn to be older, when they need us even more, and they keep on saying the same thing over and over and over again, and you've done everything in your power to take care of situations, but once again, day and night, you hear the same thing. I go up to my room and I continue my prayer, but then how do you remain in prayer? How can you bring that prayer to life and the life to prayer?
Does your mom live with you, Dave?
Well, at this point, you're going to laugh. No, you won't laugh because that's not you. But the only reason I am with her
you live with
is
her,
because
okay.
I don't want to see her taken somewhere where she
Okay, fair enough.
will
Good
not
enough.
last.
Fine, that's good. Now, how old is your mom?
88.
Do you actually expect that your mom would not have memory problems at 88?
No, I do expect that.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to find a way to deal with that.
Oh, that's simple. When she tells you the same thing, you react to her like you never heard it before.
I've thought about that. I have thought about that.
She doesn't have any idea, Dave, that she's doing that.
No, she doesn't.
She does not. And if you're living with her to take care of her, which is an incredibly beautiful, charitable thing, I got a feeling you're going to lop all kinds of time off purgatory by doing that.
No, I think I'm going deeper into hell.
Nah. But here's the thing.
I lose it.
Well,
yes.
you lose it because you don't want her to be that way. Stop being that way.
Well, I lose it because I just can't deal with hearing it, day and night, and having, I'm listening.
You don't want her to be that way. You want her,
nice.
You want her to be the mom that she was. Unfortunately, she's 88, and it may be that she's got some amount of dementia. Because of that, with her memory problems and her repetition, and maybe her confusion, and whatever it is about her personality that's getting hard to take, you are living with her because, for that very reason. Otherwise, you're going to have to find a place for her, and you don't want to do that. So to live with her that way, you can't say to yourself, this is good, I can live with Mom, and she's real easy to live with. No, she's not. She's 88. She's probably moving further into dementia, which means this, Dave. It's going to get worse. And at some point, you may have to decide. Mom is too confused even for my supervision. Now I got to see what my options are. I don't know what kind of money you got. I don't know what kind of money Mom's got. But you can get in-house help, even for, say, 3 times a week, 4 hours, 3 days a week, something, however you want to do that, so that you can get away, live your life, do what you have to do. You may find that you can't sit in the kitchen with Mom more than a half an hour without erupting because she gets on your nerves. Okay. Then go up to your room, shut the door, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, take a breather somehow, some way. But the key to this whole thing is expect that your mom is going to do this. Don't demand. The reason you're so frustrated is because you're demanding that she not. That's not possible. That would be like me saying to you, Dave, I've got this ball right here and I'm going to let it go. And it's going to drop and hit the ground. And you say, I don't want it to hit the ground. And I say, Dave, it's going to hit the ground. Well, I don't want it to. Dave, it doesn't matter what you want. It's going to hit the ground. You're doing the same thing with your mom. I don't want that to be. Dave, it is. But I don't want it. It is. That's what's tearing you up. If you expect that she's going to do this, if you expect that she's going to ask you the same question 97 times, you're going to have to figure out, one, how many times you're going to answer it without saying, Mom, you asked me that 5 times, and I answered you 5 times. Does that sound like you, Dave? Am I doing a good imitation of you?
Exactly like me.
Yes, sir. I know. So you just, after the 5th time, you either go up to your room, I got to go to the bathroom. You go outside, mow the lawn. I don't care what you got to do. Say, Mom, I'm taking off. I'll be back. So you don't erupt on her. You don't want your last memories of your mom, who you said did all kinds of good things for you all those years.
Absolutely.
And you don't want your last memories of you in a constant scolding of your mom.
For
and
certain.
That's why you don't have peace too, my friend. Some of it is that your mom can be frustrating. I got that. Dementia is very frustrating to a caretaker. No question about it. Got that. On the other hand, part of your frustration is, I don't like the way I am around my mom.
Exactly, yes.
I know. But, so what you're going to do is not be that way around your mom. You're going to say to the Lord, I can't do this on my own, Lord. You're going to have to give me some strategies here so I don't let it get to the point where I'm totally frustrated. That's what you got to do. We had my mother-in-law with us for 3 years at our house, and she was in definitely moderate to further along stage of dementia. A lot of confusion, a lot of, she'd wander away sometimes. We had to get different kinds of things for the house, and we'd be out to eat, and we'd get a call from one of the kids, Grandma just left. Oh, boy. Okay. We'll have to stop what we're eating here and go find her. Okay.
Yep.
If that stuff's happening, you're going to get to a point where you may not be able to supervise her enough. But if you can do it, get some relief. Get some people to come in there, either professionals that cost you a bunch of money or people from church, somebody to come in and stay with Mom so you can still have part of your own life. If you feel trapped in that house 24/7, oh my gosh, it's going to push you all the way to your limit, my friend. It is.
It is. Yeah.
Of course. Of course. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it enough times that you'll say to me, "You said that 9 times," and I'll say, "Yes, I did." Realize where your mom is at this point in her life. Her memory's fading. She doesn't understand things. She will do exasperating type stuff, and the more you remind her of what she did or asked, the more she's lost because she doesn't remember she did that.
Yeah.
My aunt, I used to take her to breakfast with my mom and dad many years ago. She was 90, pushing 90. On the way down, I picked her up. On the way down, she'd say, "So who all's going to be there?" And I'd say, "Well, Mom and Dad, Mom, your sister, Uncle Ernie," or whoever. Uncle Ernie wasn't there. You have an aunt so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so, 3 of my kids. "Oh, isn't that nice?" I'd count. 1, 2, 3. "So, Ray, who's all going to be there?"
Yeah.
All the way down to breakfast. And every time I said, "Well, my mom will be there, your sister, Aunt Eva will be there. A couple of the ladies from church are coming in. I think you might remember Rosalie. And, oh, isn't that nice?" 1, 2, 3. "So who's all going to be there?" All the way. It's a good thing it was only 8 miles. What you're doing, my friend, is a beautiful thing. So you make it so that you don't feel so crappy about doing it. This is Dr. Ray. Thanks for the company. I appreciate it so very, very much. Once again, do we have caller wants to know where they can call for tickets? You call the Catholic Spirit Radio Network in Bloomington. All right. Where am I going to be? The Chateau in Normal, Illinois. All right. That's where it is. If you go to my website, I think the number's there, but you can also get a hold of them. Thank you so much. Walk with God to make you more patient.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.